Hey guys, what's going on? This is Mr. Optimistic. This video is a training update. So we're talking a little bit about some of the movements that we're doing, and yeah, I'm doing bench. You don't see it too often. I don't do it too often, but when I do, it's a good mix. It's definitely a good mix, and it's interesting because the whole body is just sore in different ways. You know, when you do snatch, clean and jerk, squats, pulls, snatch balances, the works, you know what that soreness is. But when you do things like presses, benching, pulling, or different types of pulling, you wake up and you're like, what did I do? Did I get hit by a bus? Did I fall? But it's just high volume benching. So 185 was looking pretty good. We're doing a 10 rep as heavy as possible. I probably could have done 195 maybe, but I just want to end it like on the smooth route, pretty much. So we did a drop set and we did about 4 sets of 10, about 75% or so. But I personally really love the incorporation of like hypertrophy / strength training a little bit, because it kind of mixes things up. In my previous videos I talk about it's really important to keep the body fresh and the mind fresh as well too. So although this is something that we never do, it really primes the body and supplements the lifts, because you pretty much what you practice is like, hey, you just want to make sure, you lock everything out. You press all the way through. You make sure your abs are activated, pushing through the balls of your feet to stabilize the press and the bench press. There's just a lot of different things that you can kind of roll over into the main lifts. So it's definitely a change of pace, and it makes you look forward to training a little bit more, because if you're being real, that sometimes seeing snatches, clean jerks, pulls, it gets a little bit it goes to your subconscious a little bit. If you really want to get into it, is you want to make sure that you're always excited to go into training, but at the same time it feels like something's mixed, like there's a good mix in there. So I just kind of want to give like a whole update how body's feeling. So I'm sitting around about 200 pounds, and I would say my sleep is adequately matching my training volume, I would say. I'm waking up pretty much, I would say, every day around 6 or so, and I feel pretty refreshed, but at the same time sore. So I haven't been sore too often, in terms of like you wake up, you're like, oh wow, like yeah, I really pushed some numbers yesterday, but at the same time it's a good sore, not debilitating sore, because I'm sure you guys know what the difference is, right? And if you don't, good sore is you can move, and debilitating sore is that you don't want to move and it hurts to move, and you need to take probably 30 minutes to an hour to stretch everything out so you can actually move. But here we're pushing for a double in the snatch, and that's when my body is tired. Yes, and a miss. Horrendous, but it's okay. So for that, I kind of notice when I'm taking any sort of max attempt, about halfway through the pull, my legs start kind of giving out a little bit, or just kind of lose the juice, I would say. So that just kind of goes, if you can see that, right, you just want to kind of emphasize that drive and finish position, right? You want to push through consistently with both legs, obviously, and get that hip to the bar. So when you get the hip to the bar, you're going to actively pull under, boom, snap, catch, stand. But that 2 rep max would have been a PR, technically, a 2 rep PR actually, at this body weight, but the body was feeling good. I just missed that 2 rep attempt, so I'm keeping my percentages at about 85 as of right now. So working off of those percentages really help in building strength, as long as I stay pretty consistent. So kind of going back a little bit to a previous video as well, is that when I feel that I can push at a heavier percentage, even if I miss an attempt at a 2 rep max, I will take my percentages off of that 2 rep max. So I feel that's been pretty successful, and obviously depending on the day, I might have a different 2 rep max. I might have an actual 80 kilo 2 rep max opposed to that 85 kilo 2 rep max. But you just want to be careful because you just don't want to get carried away and think of, oh yeah, I can hit a 90 kilo 2 rep max, so I'm going to base off of all my percentages there, and then you're going to have a frustrating time because you cannot hit that 90 kilo 2 rep max when you barely missed one of your 85 kilo 2 rep max. But anywho, back to the pulls. So these pulls are really helping me staying over the bar, except when I'm tired and you see my chest dip down a little bit. Looking back at it, or at now as I'm commentating over it, that keeping that chest up, you see at the start of the pull, you see how I kind of like dip my chest down a little bit? That could have been fixed a whole lot. So if you want to emphasize just leading with your chest, that was a little better. That's something that I would highly recommend because you will be successful in making this 105 kilo snatch. But that's something that when you go through the repetitions, the pulls, and that's again why I recommend try to videotape yourself, kind of reflect on the lifts that you've been doing, so you can carry over that positive momentum onto the next day. Man, these cleans, I had a really, really good clean day. Everything felt relatively light, snappy, and even the ones that were a little squirrely felt good. So it was when I looked at the workout, I was like, oh my god, there's a lot of cleans, a lot of cleans. I wish it was clean and jerks, but it was just cleans. But that's something that I personally need to work on. I'm notorious for grinding out some of these cleans, and we worked for a heavy 1 rep for the day, and that was about 115. So didn't take 120 because it's when I remember loading 120, and then when I was getting set for the pull, I just didn't have it, just didn't mentally have it, and I just kind of had to step away. It's a weird feeling to describe, but it's kind of, I guess you can kind of relate it to psyching yourself out to an extent. But if you're gonna get ready, take a deep breath, get set, and then you're just like, no, your just gut says no. So 115 was more than I've done in a good while, I would say, and I would consider that a heavy rep, like working up to a heavy rep for that day. But did feel great finishing out these heavier sets. So it was good to see that we had some heavy pulls towards the end of this. But just feeling more catching more upright, as you can tell. And even as the reps are going, I'm staying pretty consistent, even though I had a double bounce out of that one. Staying pretty consistent, trying to keep that tempo high, and trying to keep building on just those good catches, or most of the good catches. That was a little soft grip there. But I know it says 140. It's not 140. It's actually 130. Don't know why I put 140, but it's okay. But we just really focusing again on that drive hard as I can to get that vertical. And it looks like my elbows are breaking a little bit to try to get a little height off that bar, but that's again a work in progress, and that's okay. I can kind of get away with that at the moment. But anytime you are doing these pulls, you want to keep those arms as long as possible and try to time that extension with the hip with that active pull under the bar. And that's why I believe that my arms are bending a little bit, because I believe that I'm getting to the hip when I'm just a little bit early. But that's okay. Alright guys, that is it for the training update. I will be posting up another video with some PRs, and should be some PRs because that's what we're scheduled to do. So as long as I show up, I will see you next time. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you like that refresh, that extra hypertrophy work. Do some bench, pull-ups, curls. Let me know. Let me know how you do. Alright guys, I'll see ya.